Hello and welcome to a special episode of Back of a Length. This week we have a special guest on. I'm not special, nor am I a guest. I'm still Mark.
Am I the special one?
Oh, God, no.
Okay, I'm Renee, as always, here with Mark. But our very special guest is Vincent from the Kiwi Cricket Korero. Welcome to Back of a Length.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, anytime.
Thanks for joining us. So tell us all about yourself, Vincent, and your podcasts. How did you get into podcasting? What made you decide that you wanted to get into podcasting and specifically Kiwi Cricket?
Okay, so a little while ago, me and Ellie decided to basically start up a podcast because there isn't too much really on the promotion of Kiwi Cricket here in New Zealand. And yeah, that was basically what we wanted to do.
Nice. Yeah, you're definitely doing a good job. Listened to quite a few episodes that you guys have put out, and it's really, really good to listen to. So for anybody who is listening to this and wants a new podcast, if you're sick of listening to us week in, week out, head on over to their podcast page. We will be plugging it on our social pages to make sure that you guys know where to go and what to listen to.
Yeah, definitely. Vincent, I can see you have rocked up here wearing a SuperSmash Aces shirt. But I think that's a bit of a lie. You may actually not be an Aces fan.
No, I'm not. No, I'm a CD fan.
Central Districts.
Yeah.
Have you followed their season this year? It'd be quite disappointing last year, but a little bit of improvement this year on the SuperSmash circuit.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting the Hinds to do as well as they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good to see them. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a really good point because it leads us right into our SuperSmash wrap-up. The Hinds taken on the Brave on Friday and did a pretty good job winning there, went through to the final on Sunday against the Blaze, and what a game. I'm still a little bit speechless. So the Hinds bowled first. It went down to 17 overs per side, and they had the Blaze out for 89, which is pretty massive achievement. And you must have thought they were going to win.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought they would win in 12 overs, to be honest, but no.
Yeah, it didn't quite work out that way.
1 run short, so the Hinds finishing on 88. I couldn't believe it. Like Rosemary Mayer bowled her 4 overs, 4 wickets, 5 runs. Phenomenal bowling figures, the best in the competition for the woman after Millie Kerr, and they still didn't win. Yeah, Blaze were the better team, but
yeah. Do you take the positives out of it, given that they made the final and came up just short, or are you really disappointed that they made it so far and couldn't quite get over the line when they were in a favourable position to do so? As a fan, how do you look at that and take that?
Well, I mean, everyone's talking about how they weren't able to chase 89, but I think the fact that they even made the final in the first place is something that, well, I mean, no one would have expected to happen at all. Yeah. But
yeah, they were sort of behind the Sparks the whole season as well, and even the Magician. So yeah, I thought the Hinds played really well all season and just tripped up at the end on a tricky Eden Park pitch.
Yep, absolutely. And then onto the men's final. Not quite as much to talk about there, unfortunately.
Well, the semi-final was a bit more exciting, Mark. So that was Canterbury versus Wellington, played on Friday afternoon, and that came down to a last ball thriller. Well, second to last ball, I think, was Zach Folkes hitting a 6 to win the game. They're gonna say my least 2 favorite words ever, but had it been a tie, there would have been no super over, because they ran out of time.
Is that actually the reason? Or
that was actually the reason.
Guys do not do super overs in this country anymore because you'd be on the wrong side of quite a few of them.
No, apparently that was the truth. It didn't matter in the end. Zach Folkes hitting those winning runs and through to Eden Park, and we got 14 overs in, and it was rained off.
Yeah, and as like the lack of super over in the semi-final, there was no reserve day in the final, despite the fact that it was a long weekend here in Tamaki Makaurau.
And a beautiful day on Monday.
It was absolutely glorious on Monday, which is always the way. A little bit disappointing that they didn't have a reserve day. I guess, yeah, Auckland's kind of deserved to win the trophy. They'd finished top of the table at the end of the season. But, you know, a one-off final could have allowed a different result to come through, but thankfully for us Auckland fans, it didn't quite work out like that. And Vincent's obviously jumped on the bandwagon because he's got his Aces top on. So yeah,
you're an Aces fan through and through. You actually kind of look like Ben Lister, actually. Looking at you.
Crikey. Yeah. For our
I
listeners,
like Ben
we'll have
Lister.
absolutely no idea what the resemblance is like or how close it is. But Renee, as we do know, sometimes does go a little bit sort of off on a tangent with her lookalikes and stuff like that. You should listen to the Lookalike 11 if you have yet to have a chance to do so. We're going to go round the proverbial table and pick an up-and-coming star or a breakout star from this season's Super Smash. You can go either male or female or both if you choose to do so. And Vincent, we're going to start with you. Who would you say has been the one that you've kept an eye on this year and are really looking forward to seeing in future editions of the Super Smash?
That would have to be Marama Downs for me for ND. Bowling was pretty good. Yeah.
Nice.
Maiden 5-wicket bag for ND in T20s and for the woman. It was a good bowling performance that game.
Yeah, I really liked her. I thought the Braves did really well actually coming through towards the end of that season. So yeah, that's a really good shout actually. I didn't even think about her.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jock McKenzie.
What a surprise.
I think most people probably saw that coming. I'm just enamored by the whole story of the fact that he went to rugby, tried it out, didn't quite work out, and he went, I'll just give cricket a go. And picked up 3 wickets and could have had a couple more in that game as well. So I'm really excited to see how his career does develop, having switched sporting codes.
You know for a fact he's going to be back for the Blues in like 2 months.
I don't know if he will be. If he plays both, that is an incredible achievement. If he plays for the Blues although he probably does stand a chance because half of them are pissed off to Japan.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
They've only got half a team. So yeah, there you go. Jock McKenzie, enjoy. Don't get injured though, because the Aces need you next year.
Yeah, don't get any ideas, Mark, about starting a rugby podcast.
I don't know the first thing about rugby. On to your selection, Renee.
Well, I am a sucker for a fast bowler, so I'm going to go Zach Folkes down in Canterbury. I just like it's so much fun, to be honest. And also, who comes out in a final like with Matt Henry at the other end and just hits a 6 over to take your team through? The Canterbury team had so many people coming and going from this tournament with the Black Caps, and we're sitting here talking about Zach Folkes, Matt Hay, Mitch Hay, Will O'Rourke. So I think the young Canterbury team, I love them.
Solid pick as well. Solid pick. If you think that we've missed anybody out in terms of who we should be having a look at, do chuck on to our socials. So we've got at Back of a Length with a little underscore on Twitter and at Back of a Length on Instagram. Now, let me tell you guys a little story about a little team who went to India. And
here we go.
So yeah, England currently playing in India, 5-match test series, and England won the toss, chose to bat first, as you generally tend to do in India, and they were around about sort of 250 odd all out, I think it was. You're thinking, yeah, pretty solid effort there in the first innings on a spinning track, and it was spinning. It was spitting quite a bit even on the first day. India come out, they make over 400, they get a lead of over 100, and you're thinking, oh, well, that's done and dusted, game over. Ollie Pope thought, nah, bruh, not having a dime of that one. Came out and made 196, which was an incredible effort and was well supported by the tail there. Shouts to Ryan Ahmed and Tom Hartley. Got England into a position where you're thinking, all right, going on to a day 5 pitch could win. Didn't even need to go to day 5.
Ooh.
Didn't even need it. Tom Hartley, who, might I add, is born and raised in Maghull, Liverpool, which is where yours truly is from. Never met the guy. I'm sure he's a lovely fella. On debut, takes 7 wickets and wins England the test match in India to put them 1-0 up in the test series. Pretty incredible achievement. And you're thinking, all right, that test cricket's going all right. And then you hop over the ditch to Australia. Oh, what a game.
Same thing going on. I cannot believe we had such dominant test matches across the last week. Tell us what happened in Aussie.
It bodes well for the New Zealand-South Africa series, but yeah, in Australia, pink ball test, Australia got skittled twice pretty much. The top order just absolutely just blown away. But a special shout out in particular to Shamar Joseph. So he was batting on day 3 at the end there, got a Mitchell Stark Yorker straight on the toe and got carried off. And you're thinking, all right, fair enough.
Which toe was it?
Over. It was his, would have been his right toe, right big toe.
Ooh.
I don't know. I didn't message him and be like, bro, you okay? What toe's sore? But I'm assuming it was his big right toe. It must have been one of the big ones. So he got carried off almost in tears. And then you're thinking, oh, well, his test match is over. And he's quite, he's a decent bowler in his second test. And next day, rocks up, takes 7 wickets, does 5 laps of the Gabba after he win. You're thinking that toe's looking all right. But he bowled incredibly.
Incredible.
Such good deliveries.
Reminds me of what Neil Wagner did a couple of seasons ago, and he basically injected his foot full and went on to basically win the test match. So getting some little toughies coming out of the West Indies, aren't we?
Yeah, they've definitely got a grit to them, which is good. Previously, they would have probably not gone on to win that game. They did go on to win that game by 8 runs. So that was an incredibly close test match. Steve Smith there at the end, not out on, I think it was about 90 odd. So, yeah, shout to Steve Smith, opening the bat and not really his forte. Nobody else really wanted to. He's better at opening the bat.
What do you mean no one else wanted to?
Well, he offered to go up to the top, and I'm assuming that if there was a better option in their sort of domestic circuit, that they would have kept him at 4, being such a crucial player, and brought in an opener. But he said, nah, I'll go to number 1. And he did go to number 1, and turns out he's better at that than he is for doing promotional videos for commentary stints on the IPL.
Well, it's not hard.
It really is not. Did you catch any of the Test cricket, Vincent? Did you catch much of either England, India, or the West Indies, Australia?
Yeah, I caught the last day that Australian Test, but I saved myself for all the action. Yeah,
good call. It was a spectacular last day, and we're looking forward to the next Test and also the next England-India Test as well, because India will obviously be desperate to make a comeback in the second Test, and England will be desperate to prove that they're not just a one-Test pony, and that it wasn't a fluke. So I will keep you posted on the England-India series, because I doubt Renee really wants to talk about it that much, but I will definitely keep you all posted. Well,
it's just nice to see England winning in India after the World Cup.
It's nice to see just England winning at all. Yeah, it doesn't matter what format, who to play them, where it is. Just nice to win a test match.
Well, speaking of test match cricket, the action will come back to New Zealand this Sunday. We have the Black Caps versus South Africa, and what was an anticipated series, hopefully it still will be, with New Zealand announcing a strong team and South Africa not.
Yeah, I'm still a bit disappointed about South Africa, to be honest. Like, I can understand why they would want to give a lot of attention to their domestic T20 competition, but I don't think it's ever going to be in a position where it's going to rival the IPL or the BBL or, God forbid, the 100. So you would expect that they would put out a better team than what they have for this test match series. New Zealand have named a strong team, as you say. Tim Southee, captain. Tom Blundell, Devon Conway, Matt Henry, Carl Jamieson, Tom Latham, Darryl Mitchell, Will O'Rourke is in the squad for the second test only, which is pretty awesome to see. Glenn Phillips, Rachin Ravindra hopefully does make an appearance, because after his outstanding World Cup, he hasn't been seen in a Black Cap shirt since, which is a little bit disappointing. Mitch Santner, Neil Wagner, Kane Williamson, and somehow Will Young keeps on making this test match squad.
2 things to note about that squad. Firstly, we have seen Blundell and Jamieson come back from injury. Hopefully Jamieson will get a go, because he's come back from a very serious back injury. Tom Blundell with a niggle in the back has seen him sidelined for a few weeks now. So hopefully he can play. We do expect, if Blundell can't play, Tom Latham will take the gloves. I want to talk about Will Young for a second.
Do you?
Okay. You guys know I have been calling for a Will Young maiden test century for 2-3 seasons now.
Don't do this to the poor man.
I'm going to go here, and you two as my witness, Mark and Vincent, you are my witnesses. If Will Young makes a maiden test century in any of these next 4 upcoming matches,
tattoo,
I'm going to donate $100 to a charity. A New Zealand. I'm not getting a tattoo. No, it's $100 to a New Zealand charity. that our listeners will decide
Yeah.
if he gets a maiden Test century.
If Will Young gets a maiden Test century and you donate $100 to a New Zealand charity, I will match a $100 donation to a New Zealand charity.
No, you're not. You're so poor.
I know. I'm going to have to start saving or hope that he doesn't get a Test match century. But from a charitable perspective, I really hope that he does it. Do you know what you should do to try and get some interaction with your boyfriend? Is reach out to him and say, if you score a Test match century, we're going to donate. Backrelink Podcast are going to donate $200 to a charity of your choice.
Ooh.
Two ways that can go. He can either be like, oh yeah, happy days, here's a charity, or he can absolutely bottle it and the pressure will be on. So therefore he will just, I don't know, leave a straight one first up or something.
Just first up on his one chance and then get dropped for the next 3 games.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have any ideas about that charity, if you think we should get in touch with Will Young, find us on social media, back of a link on Twitter or on Facebook or Instagram, and let us know, because I feel like this is a really big call.
I feel like it's a massive call. Is this across just this Test match series or across the New Zealand summer?
Well, there's 4 Test matches coming up. So we played 2 against South Africa and then 2 against Australia.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's got 4 games, 8 innings.
8 innings in theory.
And the big thing here, the big thing to remember here is Henry Nicholls has not been selected for this Test match series. So Will Young could actually play if they choose him over Rachin Ravindra.
I was going to ask that. Does he come in at 4 or does he? Where does he come in? So you'd imagine it would be what, Latham and Conway to open, Williamson 3, and then it's between him and Ravindra for the 4th position.
Yeah,
in the batting lineup. Yeah,
It
interesting.
would be, wouldn't it? Because otherwise you'd have Daryl Mitchell, but because you don't have Henry Nicholls in it at 5, Daryl Mitchell, I would imagine, would drop down to 5. I think he might be better suited there anyway.
Yeah, possibly. Or you could bring in Glenn Phillips at 5 potentially. What are your thoughts on the squad, Vincent? Is there any shocks? Are we really surprised that Henry Nicholls has been dropped?
No, I don't think so. No, I think everyone, it's just a matter of time for him. But I mean, Will O'Rourke, a bit surprised about that one. Didn't expect that.
Yeah, it's a really good opportunity for Will O'Rourke. He is in the squad for the 2nd test only. So it'll be interesting to see if he does come in and make his debut in that test. You do kind of wonder why he would be in the squad for one test if he's not going to make an appearance.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never really know.
Yeah, I imagine he might be in potentially for Kyle Jamieson cover if they are maybe intending to play Kyle Jamieson in the first test and then rest him.
Yeah.
That is the only thing I can really think of. Otherwise, Will O'Rourke is literally unavailable, and I don't know what Will O'Rourke does in his spare time. Any guesses?
I think he's been practicing his running the drinks on, but he's got very stiff competition for that with Will Young. So I don't know if he's going to be able to use it.
We actually shouldn't speculate what players do in their spare time, because last time we ended up just accusing Tom Blundell of taking naps.
Yes. Yeah. But we still have yet to be proven wrong. We'll keep you updated, fam, across the 2 test matches against South Africa. Very excited for this one. I am looking forward to seeing the South African sort of South Africa A, essentially, as what it is.
Oh, that's polite.
Yeah, it
what
is.
do you reckon, Vincent? Is it an A, a B, a C, or a?
It's a C.
C. It's a good point, because most of their A players will be in the domestic team as well, or the domestic circuit. So, all right, looking forward to seeing South Africa and a South African 11 of whatever description it is. And hopefully it's a good opportunity for New Zealand to get some Test match championship points on the board.
Well, that is the most important thing, is if New Zealand play their cards right, they'll get 2 easy points, which they desperately need after the Bangladesh draw at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And I guess it is up in the air a bit now with Aussie losing a game and India losing a game.
Yeah. First time England cricket has done anything half decent for New Zealand over the last few years. So you should all be thankful that we were able to pull that one out the bag.
So hang on, if we think about what's going on right now, are we saying we could see a New Zealand West Indies World Test Championship final?
I don't think it's beyond the realms of improbability.
Wow.
But it's pretty close. That was a hell of a phrase for me.
That was a
I
phrase.
reckon Bazball's going to take us all away. Personally.
Vincent, cards on the table right now. Who's making the World Test Championship final?
New Zealand and I reckon South Africa.
South
Pull off
Africa.
Wait, South Africa A or South Africa C?
Oh, South Africa A, not South Africa C. No. They
There
won't
we
make the
go.
mistake again, will they? Doing that.
Oh,
Well,
you'd be
that's a really
surprised.
good question, actually. We're going to get rolled so much? Because this is going to happen again
Yeah.
in 12 months, right? If they're
Well,
going to
so,
keep doing it.
so here's my question on that: is it's potentially going to happen again in 12 months, but they're same as Australia. Part of their summer is this year taken up by playing overseas. So if they had, say, India and England touring next year, they'd have test matches at home and therefore have a full
Yeah.
test match calendar over the summer. Would they then look to arrange their domestic T20 competition outside of those test matches? Would they arrange the test matches around the T20 competition or the T20 competition around the test match summer? I think they've been a little bit underhanded this year by going, well, we're playing away from home, so we're going to have to make maximum use of our home summer
Mm.
by putting this T20
Yeah.
competition right bang in the middle of the test match, what is their summer as well.
I reckon they'd do a bit of a mix because you could dip players in and out, which you can't do when they take them on a 2.5, 3 week tour.
Yeah.
Which you saw when New Zealand played Pakistan and Bangladesh. You saw Finn Allen was on the side during those ODIs, and then he came back to the Aces for the games when he was rested. So
and Australia
they could do that.
Australia do it in the BBL as well. Like Steve Smith made 4 or 5 appearances. Glenn Maxwell playing for the Stars when he's not representing Australia. So there's definitely ways and means of doing it. But I think if everyone's banging on about saving this Test match cricket as the pinnacle of the game, then all countries need to make sure they come to the fore. But also, on the flip side of that, the ICC need to make sure that they don't overschedule the calendars for the teams to make sure that
and
Test
on the
match
flip
cricket
side
can be put as the pinnacle.
And also on the flip side, it's great that New Zealand can hopefully get some easy wins. Let's be real.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any thoughts on whether that is, fair play by South Africa to send over a C and prioritize their domestic competition or not, do let us know on our socials.
Yes, on the back of a link. Or otherwise, Vincent, how can they find you on your socials?
So we're Kiwi Cricket Chat on Twitter, and then we're Kiwi Cricket Korero on all the rest of them. So Instagram, Facebook.
There you go. And I must say, you've got some lovely graphics that you put up.
Thank you.
Very easy to read.
Moving on to our last segment, our usual segment, which is
First 11 of the week, I was really inspired by Tom Hartley and by Shamar Joseph. So we're going to do a first 11 of match winners. So these are players that have won matches by the skin of their teeth.
Yep.
And this is going to be very controversial because I'm sure people got a lot of opinions. But these are the 11 names that were basically yelled at me by my friends on the sideline of Bay Oval a couple of summers back when we did the Pakistan series. So no, Vincent, have you been to the Bay Oval?
Yes, I have.
Isn't it the greatest ground in New Zealand?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm trying to get everyone on a Bay Oval jam.
Yeah, I do enjoy the Bay Oval, apart from when it's 30 degrees and there's just it's just relentless heat for my
and then it suddenly hails.
Skin. Yeah, well, that did happen in that game, didn't it? That was hilarious.
It was good. Okay, let's have a look at the first 11. So in at 1, we have Rishabh Pant. In at 2, Mark Taylor. In at 3, Kane Williamson. 4 in both them. 5, just for Mark, Ben Stokes.
I get it.
In at 6, who else but Grant Elliott? I'm sure we all remember that moment.
Yeah.
7, Richard Hadley. 8, Carlos Brathwaite. 9, VVB Laxam. 10, Michael Clark. And 11, Lasith Malinga. If you know what matches they won, what series they won, what those moments were, just let us know over on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Back of a Length. Or did we miss any?
Ben Stokes at Headingley. I know that one.
Yeah, that's not Ben Stokes at the 2019 World Cup. Absolutely not.
Carlos Brathwaite against England in the 2016, was it T20 World Cup final?
Yeah,
I think.
A lot of these are World Cups.
Yeah, understandably. Kane Williamson against Australia. Grant Elliott against South Africa. Yeah. I'll leave some for everybody else to.
The rest of them might be going before your time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, not Rishabh Pant, I would hope. But that would be the Gabba in 2019. No, 2020, 2021. Yeah, as I say, if there is anybody that we have missed off or you want to challenge any of those for more spectacular match winning innings, please do let us know. Head over to our socials, head over to the Kiwi Cricket Korero as well. Vincent, it's been so good having you. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed our company as much as we've enjoyed yours. And if you didn't, please don't tell us. But yeah, everyone, please do feel free to jump on to Vincent's podcast. Unfortunately, Ellie couldn't make it tonight, but he does do the podcast with the beautiful Ellie. So jump on, give them a follow, give them a shout. And as always, yeah, jump on over to our socials and let us know what you think.
Yeah, and we look forward to bringing you all the action next week from the first Black Caps South Africa game. In the meantime, though, have a great week.